Hello, everyone, and welcome to Thought for Thursday. Whew, my light is a little bright, huh? Hold on for just a second. Let's see what we have going on here. I don't know if I helped the situation or made it worse, but anyway, that's what we're going with tonight, huh? It looks a little better. I don't look quite as bright. I hope everybody's doing good. I'm so happy to have you here tonight. It's Thursday Eve, and I am Thursday Eve. It's Friday Eve, and I'm real happy about that, of course. You know, I'm always happy on Thursday evenings. But I'm happy and I'm kind of sad. This is our last night. Well, maybe our last night on our topic. This is week 4 of career goals. We've been talking about this now for 4 weeks. Again, a part of my quest to make sure that I have you prepared to go for that best life, whether it's your career or if you're just talking about upping the ante a bit on life overall. I am giving you the tools that you need to do that. And what we've been doing, of course, again, for the past 4 weeks is talking about career goals. With the end coming up, I also have been talking to you about some things that I have planned. So we'll talk a little about that tonight. And we may even go one more week and introduce it next week so you can kind of get a look at things. But anyway, I'm so glad to have you here tonight. We're going to continue our series on career goals. So get your pencil, get your paper. We're going to talk tonight about some things that you can consider, some things that you should consider when you're talking about changing your career. Now, I know that sounds a little scary, doesn't it? Not just changing jobs, but changing careers altogether. There are a lot of things that you have to take into consideration when you're looking at doing that. You have to keep in mind that it's something that you're definitely going to have to prepare for. It's not anything that you can just casually go into, particularly if you've been working in a certain industry for a long time. You know, it's difficult sometimes to kind of break into a new industry, but all of the things that you need to consider when you're determining if you're going to do this or not. Some of the things that you need to consider is why you're doing it and exactly, and of course, you make a plan for carrying it out. Now, what I want to tell you are some of the things that you cannot take into consideration or you should not have as a part of what you're thinking as you're thinking about if I'm going to do a career change or not. One thing is fear. And I know that sounds kind of silly because anybody who's going for something different that they don't know about, they're going to have a little bit of fear. But I don't want you to fear to the point where it's going to totally paralyze you and stop you from even pursuing that thing that you really want to pursue. So do the things that are necessary to eliminate that fear, to eliminate any of the negative thoughts that you may have about what could happen. And of course, focus on what will happen, on what you're going to do to make what you um, are really desiring to bring out, what you're really desiring to pursue. What are you going to do to make that happen? Those are the thoughts that you need to have in mind when you're planning your career change. Don't let discouragement get in the way. Don't let age get in the way. Don't let what you have done in the past get in the way. There are all kinds of things that you can do to ensure that if you want to go in a new direction, you can get equipped to do just that. So, what are some of the things that I'm talking about here that you really kind of need to consider when you're talking about a career change? First thing you need to do is really take a good assessment of your motives. Why is it that you're truly desiring to make this change? Unearth the reasons. Why is it that you so this is something that you want to do? Is it something that you've dreamt of for quite some time? It's a dream that you'll finally have an opportunity to fulfill. Do you feel, why is it that you're trying to move into a different career? Are there some things in there that you really kind of need to think about? Things like I'm sorry, assess your motives. I thought I had that banner up. Things like, are you moving because you feel underappreciated in what you're doing now? Are you moving because you feel underpaid or overworked or unsatisfied in your current position? If these are things that are making you move, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but what you really need to focus on is dig deeper to discern whether, your current employer or the career field as a whole is the route of your dissatisfaction. Is it the career field, or is the career you're in really okay, but the employer just really isn't a good fit? So, if you're feeling any of those kinds of emotions, any of those feelings around it, then definitely kind of dig deeper and figure out, well, why? Is it just the fact that I don't feel like I'm getting the proper amount of money? Or is it because I'm working with a company that is not giving me the amount of money that I truly desire? So, in your digging, in looking at that, if you discover that the source of your unhappiness is your employer, then of course that is a valid reason for you to pursue different employment. Perhaps not a career, if it's something that you enjoy, but a different employer rather than, starting an entirely new career. It's much easier to get a job within your current career than it is to kind of get your foot in the door of a completely separate career field, something that's totally new to you. Now, I say it's easier. However, if you desire that new career, then whatever you have to go through to get it, it is all worth it and it is attainable. It's just that you want to make sure that you're going into it for the right reasons. Now, if your issue is being underpaid and overworked, it may not be necessary to change employers, because you know what? Um, you may see that someplace else too. But what you may want to do before you make that move, all right? Because, yeah, I should say that if you're in that situation and you know that it is a health issue or just to make life better for you, you need to move out of that, then by all means, definitely don't hesitate in doing that. But something that you may want to consider before you do that is have a talk with your supervisor and tell them, how your current position is making you feel. Speak with someone where you are right now before you decide that, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and give up on this and move in another direction. If you are an asset to that company, you may be able to work out an agreement for a raise, a promotion, something that may come a little later on, something that could happen now. I'm just saying you need to really be cognizant of why it is that you're trying to move. And if there is something that you can do to correct the situation by speaking with someone in management or someone in authority who can make those kinds of decisions, then you definitely want to move in that direction. Okay? So the first thing that you need to consider, or at least one of the things that you need to consider when you say, hey, I just want to change careers altogether, assess why you really want to do that. What are your motives behind wanting to make that change? The second thing that you need to do is, if you're considering a drastic career change, such as going from I don't know, a mortgage loan officer to a career in the medical profession. Yeah, that's kind of drastic. Clearly, you're going to need some additional training. You know, Mortgage and the medical field are really kind of total opposite. So you're going to need some additional training, and more common career changes really make require less continuing education, if anything at all. However, you're going to have to continue to get educated in some way, in some form, whatever that is, in order to make sure that you have the skill set that's needed to move into that career. So, consult, for example, with an admissions advisor of a local college in order to figure out whether you really need to do some type of formal continuing education course, Or if there is something else that you may be able to do while you're there with that advisor. Also find out if you do need to take some continuing education. Go ahead and discuss a schedule. Discuss what that might look like for you, working full time and trying to do something part time perhaps. Discuss what options are available to you, what funding is available to you, all the things that you need to consider if you are pursuing a career change that is going to require some additional education or some additional training. Search for job postings online also, which fit the career field that you're talking about. Of course, that's something you're going to do when but in searching for that job, what you're doing, number one, you're trying to figure out what skill sets you have that already match what it is that you're looking for. And then, of course, what is it that you need to gain in order to move into that field? So it's twofold. You want to see what's out there. You want to see the kind of salary the job pays. You want to know the skill set that's required. You want to see if it already matches anything that you have. And then you want to determine what it is that you need to do to get that skill set, to get whatever is necessary for you to carry out that career or to move into that field that you really want to move into. In some instances, I talked about continuing education or some formal training. There could be some certification that you can get in order to be able to move into that field. Consider the possibility that additional training may be all that's necessary to improve your current career, even. Think about that before you make that move. Again, that kind of goes back to the motive. If you're in a career and perhaps you need to advance to the next level in order to really make the career what it is that you want it to be, and that education may be the answer to what you need in order to do that. So make sure that you consider all of that too. Keep in mind that you may need some additional training. You may need a certification. You may need some volunteer work, something that is going to help you to be able to move from where you are now in a particular career and branch into something that is totally different. All right. So, gonna assess your motives. Gonna take into consideration that you're probably going to need some additional training depending upon what it is that you do. And what is the last thing that I want you to consider when you're delving into possibly taking on a new career? Take it slowly. Realize that you don't want to make a rash decision. Realize that it's going to take some planning. Again, particularly if it is something that you don't have a lot of experience in, if it's something that you really need to grow into, something that really may be directly relating to what you feel you have been designed to do, or what you feel passionate about, or what you feel really fulfills your purpose and is going to allow you to thrive in what you do. Because it is all of those things does not mean that that career change is going to come easily for you. So don't get yourself in a position where you're frustrated when it takes some time or you have to go through several steps in order to get to where you want to be. Realize that by taking it slow, you're going to be able to give yourself the time that's needed to really consider if this is the right move, if this is what you want to do. And it's going to help you to be all the more appreciative of moving into that perfect place when you get there, because you know the time, the effort, all that went in to getting you to where you want to be. For sure, you don't want to jump from the frying pan to the fire. You don't want to just leave without having another source of income, right? That's not really a particularly smart move to make. So hang on to your current paycheck for as long as you can, preferably until you secure another position. Now, we know that, of course, there's situations where there are layoffs or, any number of things where you're kind of forced into finding more employment or new employment. And many of us in those instances, in the pandemic time, in recent years, we've seen a lot of it. People are reinventing and moving into that new career as they have been laid off or pushed out of a certain place. They see it as their opportunity to finally go after those things that they've been wanting to go after for quite some time. So, what you need to do, like I said, is hold on to that paycheck as long as you can. But know that if you're in a situation where that paycheck is no longer available due to circumstances that are totally out of your control, there is still a plan for you. There is still a plan and resources available to replace that income as you move into that new career. You may even be at a position where you can't delve right into that new career initially, depending upon how long it has, or, depending on what your financial obligations are. You may have to kind of go back in the field that you've been working, but that will also allow you to prepare for that new career that you want. When you're currently employed, with another company, you have more bargaining power also in terms of your salary. You don't feel necessarily that you have to take what it is that they offer because you feel as though you have to quickly replace that. You have to quickly replace that income. So take those things into consideration. And once you've secured a position, it may be, time to go ahead and give 2 or 3 weeks notice to your current employer. The lengthy notice, of course, is something that you want to do. As I say lengthy, but within a reasonable period of time. You always want to remain that to uh, keep that good relationship with your current employer, because remember, each thing that you do, there's a purpose in it for every part of your life. And you may have to come back to this place for one reason or another, for a resource, for a reference, or whatever it may be. Even though it may not be your ideal career that you're finally coming to the conclusion is what's going on. Know that you have gained some things while in this career that you can surely take into your next one. And all of this has built up to help to make you the valuable asset that you are to your current company and to that new career that you're moving into. All right. Excuse me. So those are the three things, guys. Don't let fear, don't let your age, don't let what you've done, don't let things from negative things from past jobs, past experiences, keep you from moving into an area where you truly, truly feel that you desire to go and is the right area for you to be in. It's never too late to reinvent, whether that be in life or in your career. So keep that in mind. But also, when you're making that change, be sure that you consider the things that I talked to you tonight, that I talked to you about tonight. Make sure you consider all those things. You're making the right choice at the right time and doing things and going about it in the right way. All right. That's it. That is it. Some tips for career change. Um, Actually, the series is grinding to a halt with career motives, but I do want to come back next week and tell you some more about something that I have coming up that I know will continue what we've been covering for the past few weeks, and it will enable you to soar and to go even further. Something that I have pulled together that is going to give you specific training on the area in which you want to go. So be sure to come back next week and we're going to cover that. We're just literally seconds away from hitting go on it. And I want to make sure that it is fully what I am promising it's going to be, because when you hear about it and when you see it, you will know that it will definitely allow you to move in the next direction and go much further and pursue those things that you really want to pursue. I will let you know that it does involve the topic that we're already talking about. It's careers. And what I have done is pull together a product that is definitely going to help you to advance your career right as you are, specifically designed for my audience. And you know who you are, my risers. Something that's going to help you to soar in what it is that you want to do. All right. But in the meantime, make sure you go back over the notes that we've covered for the past 4 weeks, put them into action. If you have been thinking of doing something with your career, I promise you that the best is yet to come for the desires that you have, for the things that you want to do, for the real purpose that you feel in your heart. If you pursue that thing, only up is where you can go. Go out and be yourself, be authentic, be confidently you, because you are who the world needs. All right. Your imprint, because only you have it. Please go out and make your impression, make your mark on the world, because we need it. We need it to correct so many of the things that we have wrong, so many of the questions that we have. You have the solution, and we need that solution. All right. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you back here next week. Go out and have a great weekend. Remember the R's over the weekend. Rest, rejuvenate, recover. Make it a great one. Take care. Bye-bye.